Let's just talk about the security issue real quick as kind of the introduction. So I don't want to give specific details on why or what's happening. As many of you know, I think out of all of the shows in politics, we may be the most swatted of 2022.
Yeah.
Six so far. It's crossed state lines. The latest incident that we're dealing with now, the bomb squad, was a surprise to me. I go outside and I see a bunch of vehicles pulling up. And then I see a guy get out. He's got a shirt that says Bomb Squad on it. And I was like, oh, the Bomb Squad's at my house.
Huh.
And, I can't say exactly what happened, but it's effectively a swatting. Not the exact same thing. And, man, I got to be careful about some of the details. There's a lot to say, but maybe I can't actually say it. There's concerns, obviously, when we talk about these security issues pertaining to swattings or otherwise, that if we highlight it, it encourages it. And we've had police tell us that before. And I'm like, you're right, and so some of these instances we've not really talked about that much. The other concern is that making sure people are aware of what's going on is important for the safety and security in a similar sense. I would hate to have something happen that would be unbelievable confusing or just over. I don't know how to exactly explain it. My concern was, if something keeps happening and we ignore it and people don't know it's happening, and then something serious happens, it'll take everyone by surprise. Maybe we should be like, hey, put a tack in this. Something's happening. We're having security issues. People should know what's happening. But most importantly, before the show, when we were trying to figure out how to title what was going on and talk about what's going on, I was just like, I said this a moment ago, if this was any other outlet, if it was Crowder, if it was the Daily Wire, if it was the New York Times, we would be talking about it for a half an hour. We'd be exploring who did it, and we can't even get into a lot of those core details. So other than that, I just, when we were trying to figure out what our lead story was, usually we're up in the studio, we're sitting here, we're talking. This time we were out in front with a bunch of cops and I'm assuming feds and stuff like that. And so we didn't have the same kind of ease of prep work and understanding we normally get to do. And so we're trying to figure out, do we lead with this story? Oh, no, we put one up that was like, Joe Biden sucks. And we were like, he does. And we want to talk about those things. But then it was just like, it's an opinion statement. Yeah. And it's just like, well, we have the story from James O'Keefe, but he didn't actually upload the video yet. And I'm like, oh, did I just accidentally, break his story before him? So I'm like, we got to change it. And I'm like, the Bomb Squad's here.
Yeah.
I can't deal with this.
I find it's like the balance of, as a weird internet celebrity, whatever you want to call this weird new genre of like, you're a creator, your personality is your character. You got to balance out your own mental health with the journalistic integrity of documenting your life so that people know in the future like what you went through, and so they know what to expect if they're going to try and reproduce what you're doing. Sometimes talking about the bad things that happen to you is bad for your mental health, and you have to just let it fly, let it go.
As we talk about, the conflict in this country and the culture war and stuff, I'm also kind of concerned that we would omit relevant news in this space because it's happening to us.
Right.
I don't know if you guys, what your thoughts are on that. Because there's the self-interest thing where we've had the cop be like, don't tell anyone this happened because it'll make it worse. And I'm like, yeah. But if there's a New York Times journalist outside filming all of this, they'd post that online in 2 seconds and tell everybody what was happening, regardless of our security or otherwise. And it would be a major topic of conversation about the escalation and what's happening with these political conversations, with censorship, with violence and things like that.
Yeah, no, it's a tough call. I can't tell you one way or the other. I think that you have total control over the information here, at least with respect to whether it gets out. I mean, we don't really have anyone else from the New York Times filming this. Obviously, things can get out either way just because of people telling their family members about what's happening, things along those lines. But yeah, I'm not sure, man. It is a tough call. I think it makes sense. On some level, it makes sense to talk about it just because people should know the danger that is present in discussing these issues publicly.
Or how psychotic people have become.
And how psychotic people have become as well. And I think they should also know that having any kind of public political platform does come at a cost. And I'm not saying that so that people can be, more careful and more afraid to speak out about their values when they need to. It's actually the exact opposite, to embolden them and have them say these maniacs cannot intimidate us into silence.